For the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 at Mesa Marin Raceway, Gary Collins is controlling the pace. He is the pole sitter in the 28 Wrangler Chevy Lumina, and alongside of him, with one race win already, Bill Sedgwick, the green flag about to come out, and Sedgwick in the Spears Chevy Lumina jumps out in front. I'm Larry Naston along with Craig Armstrong, and Craig, already Sedgwick jumps to an early lead.
He certainly does, and he knows this racetrack better than just about everyone. He considers this to be his home track. He won here in the spring. He won the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 last October. He really has what it takes to lead the race and stay up front.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Collins setting the fast lap time in qualifying. Gary Collins has this track pretty well figured out. A lot of testing was done a couple of days before the race by all the drivers, and Collins seemed to have got the better of the two. Right now, it is the Chevy Lumina from Spears Motorsports. Bill Sedgwick, your leader. As you see now, the car's starting to get in single file line. Let's talk about Mesa Marin Raceway a little bit here in Bakersfield. It's one of the nation's fastest banked half-mile paved ovals, and you'll see today that the leaders will get into traffic early, and that causes problems here at Mesa Marin. It is a very fast half mile, and race conditions today couldn't be any better, Craig.
They certainly couldn't. It's a cool day, but certainly one of the track conditions are almost ideal for a good, strong, and fast race. But there are faster cars, obviously, in the field. Then some of the back markers are going to be falling back, and as you said, Larry, they will be catching the back of the field rather quickly, and they will be encountering traffic. That's when the driving skills of such people as John Krebs. Right now, we're seeing the in-car camera from the Diamond Ridge Racing Chevrolet Lumina, one of the two Diamond Ridge Racing cars out here today, Gary Bechtel and the other one. They're going to be having to encounter some of that slower traffic, but the guys like Bill Sedgwick and Rick Carelli and, of course, Harry Gant and Jimmy Spencer are very adept at traffic driving on high-banked half-mile ovals.
That's correct, and Carelli already has 6 wins on the season this year. As we said, Sedgwick has 1. Bill does know this track fairly well. Take a look now at Johnny Krebs' Chevy Lumina from Diamond Ridge. Krebs is one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack, and here's a great view of what it looks like to go down the back straightaway here at Mesa Marin. A very good in-car shot. Krebs, as you know, has had this track wired, Craig, and I'll tell you, if he drives this race like he did in practice, he's going to be one to look out for later on this afternoon. 300 laps of this Meineke Discount Mufflers 300.
Up front is still Bill Sedgwick is in control of this race, but Krebs, as you said, Larry, coming on very, very strong. He's got Bill Schmidt to contend with right behind him, and behind Schmidt is rookie contender Dirk Stevens out of Tumwater, Washington. Dirk is just an incredibly talented race car driver.
Dirk's got some very heavy backing from Pepsi Cola and Super 8 Motels in his race car, and I'll tell you that Ford Thunderbird has been running well since the start of practice on Wednesday. A lot of the drivers made their way out here very early to Mesa Marin to catch some laps and some extra time here because the setup is so important. As we talked about at the top of the broadcast, this track is very, very fast, and you get into lap traffic early, forcing you to change your lines. Here you see Sedgwick going around Gary Bechtel now. There's an interesting story in the Diamond Ridge number 9. Gary Bechtel flew in from Washington this morning. He qualified on Thursday, flew out, had a meeting with the United States government, flew back today to make the race. Bechtel, of course, one of the premier construction companies in America, and he's just out here having fun testing this Diamond Ridge race team, which coincidentally, Craig, is going to go on the Winston Cup Tour next year.
That is very correct. Gary Bechtel, of course, heading Diamond Ridge Racing as well as the Bechtel Corporation, and Gary's very first Winston West start is today here at the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300.
Good shot of the Skull Bandit driver Harry Gant in his number 33 Chevy, and then of course number 61 Rick Carelli, who has 6 wins already this year. Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be 2 of the guys you're going to see gunning for the lead later on. We'll be back from Bakersfield.
Many people take everyday items for granted. Take the matchbook, for example. This popular item was invented in 1892 by Joshua Pusey of Pennsylvania. Many products are created or improved by the innovations of individuals. Ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. We believe these individuals, like you, are a great source of creativity. If you have an idea, invention, or new product you'd like to submit to industry, Invention Submission Corporation has a free inventor's kit to help you get started. The kit contains a form for recording and dating your invention, an information brochure, and other materials of interest to inventors. Invention Submission.
Bakersfield, California. Trouble early for pole sitter Gary Collins. The hometown boy contacts Rich Woodland Jr., the Rookie of the Year contender, backside of the 28 car. Let's go down to the pits with Fred Armstrong, who's standing by with Gary Collins.
An early day for the pole sitter Gary Collins. Gary, what happened?
Well, it's typical Collins. Bad luck, I guess. We changed the valve cover right before we went out today, and it seemed to leak, so it didn't put us in the back. We had to deal with the slower traffic, and it bit us again. You know, it's a racing deal. They're going to bring it in and see what's wrong with it, maybe get it fixed, get back out. We'll go from there.
Well, tough break for pole sitter Gary Collins in the Wrangler Chevy Lumina, but a good fortune for number 75 Bill Sedgwick, who also drives that Chevy Lumina Spears Manufacturing race car. Harry Gant in spot number 2, and now we're taking a look at John Krebs in the Diamond Ridge Racing 29 as he gets alongside of Butch Gilliland. As you notice now, he's got Mike Chase in his sights as well. And Craig, it seems that Krebs is running awfully low on the racetrack.
He was running high earlier, but that was by design. Bob Rahilly, the crew chief on the Diamond Ridge Racing crew, has decided that set the car up tight early on is going to allow him to get better and better as the race progresses. It's obviously paying off for him as he's now moved past the Butch Gilliland number 36 machine. He sets his sights on number 50 Mike Chase. The Red Lion in Chevrolet goes down a position as it looks like that he can drive that car anywhere he wants to on the racetrack and get wherever he needs to go. He's now looking at Harry Gant ahead of him as Krebs really making the march to the front.
Oh, he certainly is. And you notice that Krebs can go, and look at this, he can go anywhere he wants. He goes right down to the apron of the racetrack. He has now got to the inside of Mike Chase, who goes now into spot number 4 as Krebs works his way in the 3rd spot. Now he's going to be nose to tail fairly quickly with the Skull race car of Harry Gant, but he decides to go down low again. So Krebs obviously has a very tight race car. The Diamond Ridge Racing team really getting things set up. Harry Gant still runs in spot number 2. Of course, the Winston Cup regular, that's going to go away as Krebs dives below him right down the front straightaway here at Mesa Marin.
Krebs is able to go really low and still stick so well. That's what's amazing to me. He's able to take that car below Harry Gant, who is having some trouble. The back end of that car dancing out just a little bit. He's having to drive it higher, indicating that the car is loose, or the back end wanting to trade places with the front end. Of course, Harry Gant is a great driver. Rich Woodland Jr. has a problem off of turn number 4 now in the number 86 car. He gets it going again. There is no yellow flag. We will stay green as they continue to circulate here at Mesa Marin Raceway.
And definitely a factor now coming out for Sedgwick as he continues his lead. Good thing the yellow didn't come out. Sedgwick doesn't want to come in early. Harry Gant still runs in that 3rd spot, but in the 2nd spot is the man of the day who's been running the hardest, the 29 car, the Diamond Ridge Racing Chevy Lumina of John Krebs.
Krebs has got his sights set now on Bill Sedgwick as we're looking at Jimmy Spencer, one of the 2 Winston Cup regulars in the field in the number 12 Meineke Mufflers Ford Thunderbird, and he is really on a move.
He's also got a young rookie behind him, Tony Hunt, who is driving the Hunt Magnetos Power Bar Chevy Lumina. What a thrill it must be to pull up alongside a Winston Cup regular, Jimmy Spencer, in your rookie year.
Especially when you're 22 years old and you're trying so hard to make a good impression on the Winston West Series as he is, doing a fabulous job in the number 56 car.
And here you see our leader, Bill Sedgwick, as now he starts to get around Gary Bechtel, no problem, part of the Diamond Ridge team. Well, I tell you what, there goes Johnny Krebs right in front of the boss. So I guess there's a good relationship there as Krebs takes the 29 into spot number 2. Now you notice that Krebs is running a lot lower, and here we go back now to Tony Hunt, who's trying to follow Krebs's line. He's going very low on the racetrack, and he's door handle to door handle with Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy Spencer takes the Meineke Mufflers Ford Thunderbird up a little higher, 1 lane higher, and Hunt is able to drive that car down very, very low, gets a little loose, but boy, I'll tell you, up front is where the battle is developing between the number 75 car of Bill Sedgwick, right behind him the 29 of Diamond Ridge Racing Machine of John Krebs. 1 career Winston West win. Will this be his day today?
Boy, it sure looks like it. He is really pushing Bill Sedgwick hard. Sedgwick trying to run on that inside line now. I think he knows Krebs is going to run down there, but I don't think he can stay there. Here comes Krebs now. It looks like he's going to shoot into the lead. Almost. He's got him door handle to door handle as they go into 3, and Krebs looks like he will take the lead.
The obvious advantage is in setting the car up a little tight and waiting for the racetrack to come to you, as John Krebs's crew did, and Krebs is now able to drive it into the lead past Bill Sedgwick, but there's trouble for the number 50 car of Mike Chase. Let's go down to the pits.
Mike Chase has brought the Red Lion in Chevrolet into the pits. The hood goes up. Bill Strasser and the crew over the wall. Some kind of a problem slowing Mike Chase on the racetrack. He had made his way up to 3rd and now sits down along the pit lane with engine problems.
Well, there's no problems up in front as John Krebs, the 29 Diamond Ridge Chevy Lumina, still out in front of the 75 of Bill Sedgwick. But boy, I'll tell you what, things are getting hot and heavy all over the racetrack. Here you have Dirk Stevens and Robert Sprague battling. This is the 6th place battle on the racetrack. Stevens in the Pepsi-Cola Super 8 Ford Thunderbird now moves comfortably into the 6th spot. Let's go to the pits.
Well, Mike Chase is smiling. That just goes to show what a good-natured guy is. But, Mike, you have to be heartbroken. You started 10th. You made your way to 3rd. What happened?
You know, it's running really good. You know, the Red Line motor in Chevrolet here was doing really good. I just took my time, got there behind Harry Gant there, and was just riding with Harry and taking care of my tires, and we had a lot of car left, and I guess we must have dropped a valve. You know, it's really unfortunate. I think we really had a lot for these guys today. We had some good runs yesterday afternoon, and I was right where I wanted to be. It's such the way the racing goes, huh?
Krebs continues to lead as he's right behind the number 77 Jimmy Dick entry out of El Paso, Texas. Dick gives way as he goes up high on the racetrack. Krebs down low as they continue into turn number 1.
Well, I tell you what, Krebs has been able to go all over the racetrack. Getting around lap traffic has been no problem for him. On the other hand, Sedgwick can't run as low. So things a little exciting here in the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300. Now here comes Sedgwick up high. So Sedgwick puts the door in, and it looks like Krebs has a flat tire.
Yeah, trouble for the number 29 machine for sure as Krebs slows dramatically on the racetrack. Now you see the in-car camera shot as he's trying desperately to get back to the pits. Evidently must be a flat tire for the number 29 Diamond Ridge Racing Chevrolet Luma. He brings it into the pits on the backstretch. This is going to cost him an awful lot of time on the racetrack.
Well, I tell you, it's going to take him right out of the top 5 as he makes his way down pit row here at Mesa Marin Raceway, waiting for his pit crew to jump out. This ought to be an interesting shot of the pit crew jumping over the wall.
We mentioned that John Krebs could drive that race car literally anywhere on the racetrack. Sometimes that's an advantage, but sometimes a disadvantage. If you drive it too low, you can get off the racetrack and pick up a little debris. That may have been what happened to that right front tire.
And that's exactly why they're changing both tires, Craig, as you see the Diamond Ridge team getting the race car underway. Very tough to pit here under the green at Mesa Marin due to the speed of this racetrack. You can go a lap down in a heartbeat. Here's your top 5, and we'll be back right after this.
When I pull in the pits, I have a lot of confidence in my crew.
Here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California, our leader Bill Sedgwick behind the Pontiac pace car for the Winston West Series. Here's what happened, and it's bad luck for the Diamond Ridge Racing crew all the way around. Gary Bechtel touches the wall in the number 9 Chevrolet Lumina, and Bill Sedgwick dashes past, catches the yellow flag just ahead of the number 95 car of Lance Wade out of Victoria, BC. There's Sedgwick right behind the pace car now, awaiting the opportunity to come into the pits, and we'll follow his pit stop as he makes his scheduled stop. This is going to be a good opportunity for the Sedgwick crew to go to work.
And they are twice the defending Winston West champions. And Craig, a lot of things happen on pit road during the yellow.
First of all, the pits are closed when the initial yellow comes out. When the green does come out for the pits, it is only for the lead lap cars to come in. Then the lapped cars can come in after that. They have completed their pit stop sequences. You're only allowed to take on 2 tires in a Winston West pit stop, plus fuel.
Race leader Bill Sedgwick into the pits. The Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet goes up. Right side tires going on. Also fuel going into the car. The crew checking the left side tires as well. Bill Sedgwick is down and away.
And they'll stop Sedgwick, and there you see Harry Gant's crew making some adjustments and changing tires to the race car and adding fuel. There goes Carelli. And as you noticed in that pit stop, boy, nothing changed as far as the handling characteristics. There was no jacking of weight into any of the sides of the race car for Bill Sedgwick. So obviously they're very happy with the setup they've got.
Carelli goes into second place, and that's a very significant thing for him. He's worked his way and alternately been in the top 5, but mostly towards the back of the top 5. Now Carelli has got a good shot at Bill Sedgwick, really for the first time in this event today. So interesting to see exactly how that will shake out. Obviously an excellent pit stop for the Total Petroleum crew. Let's go down to the pits and see exactly what happened.
Joe Garrone, crew chief for Rick Carelli. You just brought Rick in. You changed the right side tires. Everybody's been a bit concerned about rubber today. What was the condition of the tires?
The tires don't look too bad. We picked up a pretty bad push, so we had a rubber in the right front spring to pull out. We pulled it out, and hopefully it'll loosen it up a little bit.
Now we get a look at the Pontiac of Gary Bechtel, which smacked the wall by himself, and I think he's got a few words to say about what happened.
Gary Bechtel inside the Diamond Ridge Pontiac. Gary, you're in the paddock area. What happened?
Trying to catch up too fast, I think. Just touched the wall myself. Nobody, just me and the wall.
Well, I guess, Craig, when you pay for the Diamond Ridge Racing effort out of your own pocket, you don't have to answer to anybody. You can hit any wall you want as long as you're paying for it, no problem. But John Krebs is in front of Bill Sedgwick right now. Of course, he is down some laps now, so Sedgwick is actually your lead car, Craig. And Carelli, as you said, is running in spot number 2.
Certainly is doing a marvelous job. He is a few car lengths to make up before he catches Bill Sedgwick. Now we're going to the inside of John Krebs' car once again. He's the lead car on the racetrack, but definitely several laps down, so this is not for position. However, However, once again, he appears to have a dominance in handling with the Diamond Ridge Racing Chevrolet Lumina. Behind him, leader Bill Sedgwick, however, would like to get by him to put more distance between himself and Rick Carelli, who is in second place. Behind Carelli is a lapped car. That's Bill Schmidt, the three-time Winston West Series champion, the number 73 car, the Ford Thunderbird out of Redding, California. And running a super race behind him in third place is Harry Gant. He's really trying to make his way to the front, and it's been kind of an up and down day for Gant.
Well, Harry Gant definitely at times has shown that he can put the wheel in on anybody he wants to, but now he contends with Carelli, and Carelli with 6 wins this year already has got that Total Petroleum race car out in front. Dirk Stevens, after a fantastic pit stop, has moved himself back into Harry Gant's area. They are running just about nose to tail. Stevens now opts to run low. I think a lot of people have been studying where John Krebs has been running, and of course the spotters all over the racetrack are telling everybody, get low. There is a secret to this thing, and you've got to stay low on the racetrack, and right now that's exactly what's happening. As we go back to the lead cars, you see that out in front it is still Krebs, however, again is laps down, and Bill Sedgwick is getting very impatient with him in the Spears Manufacturing Chevy Lumina.
Krebs appears to have lost a little bit of his early advantage, and he is holding up, or it certainly appears that he is holding up the progress of Bill Sedgwick in the number 75 Spears car. Behind him, a very hard-charging Bill Schmidt in the 73 car trying to get his lap back. Now, as we see, the challenge is for second place on the outside, and this is an unusual move here at Mesa Marin Raceway. Harry Gant takes the number 33 Skold Bandit to the outside, and he is trailing along the new Rookie of the Year, just crowned at Tri-City Raceway earlier in September. That's Dirk Stevens out of Tumwater, Washington. He has some designs on bigger and better things as his racing career has progressed. He's the 1992 NASCAR Winston Northwest Tour champion, and he's doing a marvelous job in his rookie year in that Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird.
Well, you're watching coverage of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, where Harry Gant and Dirk Stevens are battling for position right now. Gant has been a pleasure to have here all week long, and Dirk Stevens puts a wheel in on the inside going into 3. And we've got a spin now coming out of 4. LJ Pryor in the 7 car spins it out of 4. The yellow will come out. Everybody racing back, and Sedgwick almost collects LJ Pryor coming back by the start-finish line, Craig.
Yes, that was a scary moment for the race leader as he came out of 4 and was trying to decide which part of the racetrack he needed to go to and almost made the wrong decision. Bill Sedgwick is called the natural for good reason, as we see the replay of LJ Pryor's incident. Actually did not contact the outside wall, Larry.
And we'll be back. Here's your top 5. Mufflers 300 at beautiful Bakersfield's Mesa Marin Raceway. Still under yellow as the cars sorting themselves out to come back for the start. And Craig, I think the guys are a little bit confused. Everybody wants to run to the front.
Well, the decision has been made that the 95 car of Lance Wade, the young Victoria, BC driver, is in fact in the lead. Bill Sedgwick earlier passed him on the racetrack. The decision went to Bill Sedgwick for an earlier restart. I think Sedgwick assumed that he was back in the lead ahead of the 95 car, when in fact NASCAR has ruled the 95 car is on the lead lap. He did not come in for a pit stop. Therefore, he is the leader of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 at this point.
And Sedgwick in the 75 Spears Manufacturing Chevy Lumina runs in spot number 2. As you see, Harry Gant is in spot number 3. And if you look back there far enough, Dirk Stevens was penalized 15 seconds for a pit infraction on the last round of pit stops. So obviously, Stevens going to have to work his way up in that Pepsi Super 8 Ford Thunderbird. But the field is set. The faster cars on the top, the slower cars on the bottom. And as we said, it's very important here at Mesa Marin to stay on this lead lap. Pace car pulls out underway right now, and Lance Wade will control the pace.
And Jackie O'Neill, the starter for Winston West, awaits them with the green flag as Lance Wade gets back on the gas as he comes off of turn number 4, pulls out to about a 5 or 6 car length lead. However, that lead will evaporate rather rapidly as, again, Bill Sedgwick chews it up the distance between himself and Lance Wade in a hurry. The youngster out of Victoria, BC, however, doing a fabulous job. It really only his 2nd season, and he is a Rookie of the Year contender this year because he ran less than 5 Winston West events in 1992, as Bill Sedgwick takes the high side around both the number 73 car of Bill Schmidt, who is still a lap down, and the number 95 of Lance Wade. Wade goes down to the 75 of Bill Sedgwick. Sedgwick takes it up. He can drive that car literally anywhere on the racetrack. It's amazing. The setup has not changed all day. Whatever the Spears Manufacturing crew did to begin with, they did a fabulous job.
And there you see a shot of the 29 of John Krebs, who was down a few laps due to the tire problem he had earlier. And then we go back to the lead now with the number 75 car of Bill Sedgwick, who has been in control of this race since the beginning. And Craig, Sedgwick can run wherever he wants.
Sedgwick has got the car set up, rather the Spears manufacturing crew's got the car set up very, very well. Behind him is the 73 car of Bill Schmidt, who is now going to take some heat as he tries to keep himself on the lap he's on. He's still a lap down. He needs to pass Sedgwick to get on the lead lap. He's got a couple of cars that are going to try to keep him from doing that. Lance Wade right now holding back Harry Gant just a little bit. The 95 car of Wade, the 33 Skull Bandit car of Harry Gant, and the number 61 Total Petroleum car of Rick Carelli, all locked in a tight battle for second place. Gant's looking to the inside this time.
Well, Gant traditionally is a highline driver, and he's been up there all day long, but now follows the line and goes down a little bit lower, as you see Carelli trying to take advantage of Gant moving around a little bit, but that's not happening. The air not a big factor here. The drafting not so important, but boy, his racetrack position is a must, and right now Lance Wade has that position in the 95. Right behind him, of course, is Harry Gant in the 33 Chevy Lumina, and then the Total Petroleum race car of Rick Carelli runs down low. And Harry Gant proven once again that high line's where he likes to be. He goes to the upper side of the racetrack to get around Mr. Wade in the 95 car. Harry Gant in the Chevy Lumina now works comfortably in spot number 2, Wade in spot number 3. And there you see Krebs trying to get last back, and Krebs makes contact with the back of Lance Wade.
Lance Wade goes all the way around as Krebs dives low to avoid the collision again with the 95 car. Everybody's scrambling now for position. The top 10 contenders trying to make it back to the stripe.
Boy, Spencer just did get by in the Meineke Thunderbird. Boy, he missed it by less than a foot, and the top 10 drivers were scrambling for position. Let's take a look at this again. Here comes Krebs. He's in the back of Wade's car. Now watch the driving that these guys do to get away from this spin. Carelli goes straight towards the wall and holds it out, and boy, I tell you what, there were some lucky drivers in the top 10 there.
NASCAR has posted number 29 John Krebs machine. Krebs brings the Chevrolet Lumina into the pit area. This will be a penalty for Krebs. It was assessed against him for having made contact with the number 95 car. They posted the black flag out, brought him into the pits. Now it's a stop and go penalty. John Krebs will take the car back out on the racetrack, but he will lose yet more positions. This has not been John Krebs' day, as he really was very strong in the early part of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300.
We'll take a look at the top 5, and we'll be back with more racing action from Bakersfield, California, right after this.
When I pull in the pits, I have a lot of confidence in my crew. But off the track, when my family car needs work, the last place I want to be is in the pits. So I come to Meineke for a discount price and real quality on mufflers, shocks, or brakes. Bobby, that'll make a good slogan. Bring your car to Meineke or you'll wind up in the pits.
Jimmy, they've already got a great slogan. You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
And you'll stay out of the pits.
The great drivers, Donahue, Jones, Fulmer, the classic pony cars, Camaro, Mustang, Javelin. Only the Trans Am Series featured all of these American legends of motorsport. And now, for the first time ever, it all comes together on video in the history of the Trans Am Series 1966 to 1992.
Trans Am racing in those days was very, very exciting, both for the competitors as well as the spectators.
This is the Trans Am Series. This is the most competitive road racing series in North America.
Packed with historic film and photos, the history of the Trans Am Series video chronicles the series from the beginnings in 1966 to the championship battle of 1992. Candid interviews with Roger Penske, Dan Gurney, David Hobbs, Parnelli Jones, and many others make this a must for any racing enthusiast. Get your own copy of the history of the Trans Am Series video for only $39.95 by calling 1-800-727-6689, 1-800-727-6689, or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Here's one time it doesn't matter who your neighbor is.
Racing continues here at the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Your leader is still 75, Bill Sedgwick. And Sedgwick has got some heat. Now, Harry Gant is the car that runs in the third spot on your picture, but he is second in the race. And Krebs is trying to make some laps up. And Craig, already we're seeing these guys start to go up a little bit higher on the racetrack as the tires start to become even a bigger factor.
And Krebs still taking it down very, very low in an attempt now to unlap himself, but I think it's a rather futile attempt at this point in the race, almost 200 laps in, and we are looking at trying to unlap 5 or 6 of the down laps that Krebs has. However, he really wants to make the valiant effort, and right now he is the fastest car on the racetrack.
And also, Harry Gant has really come up alongside a couple of times now of Bill Sedgwick, and now Jimmy Spencer makes a very futile move to get around car number 77, Jimmy Dick. He was behind him for a long time, and Spencer just said, man, I got to get out of here, and he takes the Meineke Ford Thunderbird and gets away. But Carelli made a move as well, and Carelli goes ahead of Jimmy Spencer. Meanwhile, back in front, you see car number 29, who is still laps down, 75-year leader, Bill Sedgwick. Behind him, Harry Gant. And Gant is now starting to close the gap a little bit.
Gant is looking to the inside, and that's a very interesting move for him. He's trying to look and find a weakness in Bill Sedgwick's driving style. I think it may be a long wait, as Sedgwick knows this racetrack very well. He has won a number of races of his Winston West total here at Mesa Marin Raceway. It's going to take a valiant effort on Gant's part to get by him, but I'll tell you, if anybody is up to the challenge, it's the 53-year-old Winston Cup guy who really knows his way around short tracks. Here, Robert Sprague, unfortunate break for him. He was running in 6th place. He is in the pits right now with some problem. They'll try to get him back out on the racetrack just as soon as possible.
As we get into the later laps of the race, very important to make sure that everything's working right in the race car. As you see, Sedgwick having no problem getting through lap traffic. Butch Gilliland and Schmidt is up there as well, and man, no problems at all for Sedgwick. He just keeps going right through the pack.
Gilliland is having an awful lot of trouble himself, just trying to hang on to his racetrack position. Gilliland's crew reported he has lost brakes in the number 36 car. He had a tremendous run. He was on the lead lap and looking like he might be a contender for the victory here at Mesa Marin Raceway today, but it appears that that's not going to happen, as he's just trying to hold track position, and he's really using the tires up dramatically as he's trying to use the tires themselves in the high banks to slow him down and get him around the corners. That's not a good thing for him, but you know, an unsponsored effort like that. Butch Gilliland, the former Grand American NASCAR competitor from Ascot Speedway, ran many enduros for many years, now runs Winston West. What a heck of a race car driver he is.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's sure putting in a valiant effort this afternoon. But Bill Sedgwick is your leader. Now you take a look at the 20 of Dirk Stevens in the Ford Thunderbird, who is moving his way up. He is playing around with Tony Hunt right now. Hunt, of course, in the Power Bar Chevy Lumina, working his way down low on the racetrack as he goes by Butch Gilliland. And obviously Butch having some problems, and he's coming down now to get on pit road. Watch the rest of the race cars as they come around. As we said, Dirk Stevens in the Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird is now starting to move up on Harry Gant in the 33. And now we go into the pits with Butch Gilliland. And the crew trying to make adjustments. They're just going to give him tires. That's about all they can do. But boy, it is a problem with the brakes. We've heard it on the scanner, and he has no brakes at all. He barely can stop the car, and thus the tires are just going away.
This is an unscheduled stop for Butch, but again, as you pointed out, Larry, he has to have fresh tires in order to just get around the racetrack for track position itself and no other reason. If they were to work on the brakes, it would really take a long time, and it would lose many laps.
All right, we still have Bill Sedgwick as your leader in the 75. Harry Gant behind him on a great race weekend here in Bakersfield. Incredible crowds on Friday for the late model feature. Saturday, last night, for the Southwest Tour, which Ron Hornaday won and took the championship. Actually, Hornaday came second in the race, but won the Southwest Tour championship yesterday. And a great crowd on hand here today for the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300. Boy, Mesa Marin playing host to some of the biggest races on the West Coast, as we see now Sedgwick continuing to lead in the later laps of this one. Right behind him is Harry Gant, and now we take a look at Dirk Stevens in the Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird, and he is chasing once again number 56, rookie Tony Hunt.
Dirk Stevens really on the move at this point. He's third on the racetrack, third position rather. He's trying to find his way around Harry Gant. First, he's going to have to contend with Tony Hunt.
And we have a spin down the back straightaway, and looks like we're going to have a yellow come out, and boy, the driver's just barely missing him here. So a bad place to spin at Mesa Marin Raceway, and cars swerving to get out of the way. And boy, I tell you what, that could have caused some serious heartache right there.
Steve Sellers with his heart in his throat in that Coca-Cola Ford Thunderbird as he backs away from the wall. Another guy that really got an advantage on that move was at the yellow flag, the number 73 car, Bill Schmidt. Schmidt was able to make another lap up. He's really trying to claw his way towards the front, and yet another lap made up by the number 29, John Krebs machine. He has done nothing if drive his heart out here at the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300, and my hat's off to him. He's really done a tremendous job.
There's no doubt about it. Their setup has been right all week long. Unfortunately for Krebs, in the luck department, it hasn't been going his way. But as far as the technicality and the setup of the race car, they have been nothing but superb. But Sedgwick is the man of the day. He has led this thing from the outset. Many different times, Sedgwick has come back from the top 5 position to come into the lead, whether it be yellow flag or green flag racing. And that's just what's going on here at Mesa Marin. Very, very tough. The car's still under yellow right now. They're getting everything lined up. And boy, I tell you, this Meineke Discount Muffler 300 has been everything everybody thought it would be. Just one fantastic NASCAR Winston West race.
Crews are preparing for another round of scheduled stops under caution. The pits will be opened momentarily, and the top 5 at least will be able to go in. There goes the green pit flag. That symbolizes the pits are open, ready for business. And here we go down. Harry Gant brings the Skull Bandit in under caution. The top 5, all of them. There's Sedgwick and Gant and Stevens. The top 3, there's Carelli and Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. Everybody coming into the pits under caution.
And now we'll go down to the pits and follow this along with Fred Armstrong, as he is right there on pit row.
With just under 50 laps to go, the leaders come down the pit lane. Bill Sedgwick coming in for right side tires and fuel. Chris Robinson and the crew working on him there. Harry Gant also in, right side tires and fuel for Gant. Just under 50 laps remain. This should be the final pit stop. Also Rick Carelli in, Joe Garoni and the crew working on that car. And a good stop for Dirk Stevens, Tom Cragen and the crew getting him out in the 2nd position after this pit stop.
And here we see the Meineke Ford team getting ready to send Jimmy Spencer out underway. Spencer been very consistent all day long, running in that 5th or 6th spot most of the afternoon. And Spencer going very slow down pit row, in fact, turning into Carelli's pit. And Spencer comes to a stop in Carelli's pit, and I wonder what is going on. I would think now that he is making word of what's going on the racetrack, maybe to Carelli's crew, as Jimmy Spencer pulls the Meineke Ford back out. But who knows what was said there? It could be Spencer telling somebody to get out of the way or warning him about something. We'll be back right after this.
Final stages of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Dirk Stevens now, as the green flag flies, really making a move to get around Bill Sedgwick. Sedgwick has been so tough all day, but Stevens is right up door to door with him.
Boy, that pit stop really helped out the Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird of Dirk Stevens. Here he goes to the inside of Sedgwick. Sedgwick running a little higher than normal, and Stevens really getting in and sliding it sideways and almost slams into the side of Sedgwick. Great save. Now let's hear what his crew chief had to say.
Tom Cragen, crew chief for the Pepsi Ford. You guys had an excellent stop with just under 50 laps to go. You're in the 2nd spot and running down Bill Sedgwick. What does Dirk Stevens say about the way the car's handling now? Do you think he can take him?
He hasn't really said since it went back out, but the car looks like it's doing the same thing it's been doing all day, so I think it's going to get better as it goes by. I'm hoping.
Well, we go back to our race action, and Bill Sedgwick is still out in front. Now Dirk Stevens seems that he can run just about anywhere on the racetrack that he'd like to go. Up high, then coming back down low. Traffic going to play a big part in this one, Craig.
It certainly will, and Dirk Stevens may be using up a little bit more of the race car than he wants, as Rick Carelli trying to get around Harry Gant. He goes low on the racetrack as Gant slides up a little higher. Now Carelli puts his right front fender into the left rear quarter panel of the Skull Bandit machine as they go into turns 3 and 4. Carelli really trying to gain some positions as he wants to make sure he guarantees himself a Winston West championship this year. Dirk Stevens and he are locked into tight battle as they go into the final event at Phoenix.
And still watching Harry Gant in the 33 Skull Bandit car. Now we go back up to Bill Sedgwick and Dirk Stevens, who are having a fantastic run at the front of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 at Mesa Marin Raceway here in Bakersfield on a gorgeous race weekend. And boy, I'll tell you what, you want to talk about somebody who had it going his way all day long. It's the 75 of Bill Sedgwick. The Spears Manufacturing Chevy Lumina continues to lead the way, but the Pepsi Ford Thunderbird of Dirk Stevens seems to be making a little bid for the front here. We are in the later laps of this race, and I'll tell you, we've only got a few laps remaining, and this thing's getting real tight. Carelli and Harry Gant still in their battle. Gant in the 33, Carelli driving the Total Petroleum 61, and then Jimmy Spencer and that Meineke Thunderbird runs in spot number 5.
Obviously, Spencer has not had the handle his way at all today, and just due to the sheer driving ability, grit, and determination of Mr. Excitement, he's kind of become Mr. Consistency today, because he has been running 5th or 6th pretty much all through the race, and he's been driving a car that just flatly is not handling up to his liking. As we see now, Rick Carelli taking a peek to the inside of Harry Gant, but right behind him, the number 12 Meineke Mufflers Ford Thunderbird of Jimmy Spencer. Now Spencer takes a peek to the outside of Carelli. As up front, it's still Bill Sedgwick.
And for sure, Spencer has been running up top all day long. In fact, there's a white pinstripe on the side of his car that's coming off the crash wall out of turn number 4 here at Mesa Marin. But Bill Sedgwick continues to lead, and in spot number 2, the 20 of Dirk Stevens. And then, of course, Harry Gant runs behind him in the 33 car. Fantastic racing going on this NASCAR Winston West event. Very typical of what's been going on in the series all year long.
You know, it's amazing. We've been talking about at various times during the afternoon about the number 29 car of John Krebs, the racetrack coming to him after a few green flag laps, or Dirk Stevens' setup coming back to him, or Rick Carelli getting better and then getting worse. But the true picture of consistency is the number 75 car as Butch Gilliland brings it into the garage area. Tough break for him. Bill Sedgwick has just had it all his way. That's why they call him the natural, and certainly the Spears crew are the naturals as well. Gilliland has been fighting a problem with the brakes all afternoon, and the tires have just cooked off of that car. He brings it into the garage area, removes the helmet, takes out the earpieces. He's going to try to get some kind of an idea of what went wrong with the car as he talks to our Fred Armstrong.
Well, Butch Gilliland, you brought the Performance Chevrolet down into the paddock area. What happened?
Well, we started losing the brakes, and we come in for tires, and the brakes just got worse. And we're just going to save the car for Phoenix and maybe go to Atlanta.
You had a heck of a run going out there, Butch. It looks like it's been awfully trafficy, and also tires have been a big concern today. Were you concerned at all about your tires coming down to the end of this one?
Yeah, we were. We were trying to be real easy on them, and we ended up using our brakes up a little bit. That's all.
As we continue with race action, you see now Sedgwick is still your leader as he prepares to put a lap on Lance Wade in the 95 car, and Wade has not had good things going on after his bump and encounter with John Krebs. But we're back at the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300, where there are not too many laps left for the 75 Chevy Lumina of Bill Sedgwick.
Actually, less than 25 to go at this time, with Dirk Stevens still in contention. There's Harry Gant, and he was having to fight off a really strong challenge by Rick Carelli, but once again, as the green flag laps roll away, Carelli begins to fall back, and the guy on the charge once again. Well, are we really surprised about this? There's the 29 car of John Krebs taking the inside line. He's door to door with Harry Gant. This is definitely not for position, except on the racetrack. It's not for position in the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300, as Krebs takes another position away from Harry Gant on the track. He has just been the fastest car out here once you get into a long green flag period.
And Sedgwick continues to lead yet another lap, and behind him is Dirk Stevens. Now they get into the traffic that we have talked about and heard about all afternoon long. Traffic is a big factor here at Mesa Marin due to the speed that they carry on this banked half mile. But once again, Sedgwick continues to have things go his way. Dirk Stevens, a very impressive drive in spot number 2 in that Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird. But again, the man in the lead lap, your pace setter, is number 75, Bill Sedgwick.
Stevens, as we mentioned earlier, has wrapped up the 1993 Rookie of the Year challenge for the Winston West Series. No Rookie of the Year has ever won a Winston West Series championship. That's something Dirk Stevens would definitely like to do before he moves on to anything more, as in Busch Grand National, Winston Cup, or whatever the case may be. He wants to make his mark. He would love to win this race because that would get him ever closer to Rick Carelli going into that final event.
And now we have a motor going away down the back straightaway. It's in the 99 car of Tom Taylor, and it looks like he's going to have some problems, and I think we are going to have oil on the racetrack, and a yellow flag is coming out from the NASCAR officials.
Bill Sedgwick continues to lead under caution at this time. He slows it down. This will give Dirk Stevens yet one more opportunity to get around the 75 car of Sedgwick. But all we can say to Dirk at this point is good luck. Mr. Sedgwick is really hooked up.
He certainly is. And don't go away. We'll be right back with 20 to go from the Meineke Discount Muffler 300.
remaining in the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300 here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California, as Bill Sedgwick in the number 75 car pulls them down for the green flag. Hurdles into turn number 1. Bill Sedgwick just a few laps remaining, and he's got another victory here at Mesa Marin.
And Rick Scribner in the 15 car is in 6th spot right now. He has been on the lead lap all day, just recently got 1 lap behind, and pretty impressive considering that's a 2-year-old backup car. In July, he had a crash up in the Portland Speedway, and it's a wonder that he's back here running as strong as he is today, Craig.
Certainly is, and he is a very, very adroit race car driver. We certainly wish him the best as the season winds down. Now you see the number 20 car of Dirk Stevens waiting, trying to find that opportunity to get around the 75 of Sedgwick, and he has got a battle going on behind him for position, both on the track and for the race, between Rick Carelli, again extremely strong off of the green flag for the first few laps, and there's only a few laps remaining as he gets around Harry Gant.
And right behind Harry Gant is Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer in the Meineke Ford Thunderbird. So the top 5 drivers are as follows. 75 is Bill Sedgwick, and right behind him is the 20 of Dirk Stevens. In the 3rd spot, it's the 61 car of Rick Carelli. Behind him, Harry Gant, and then, of course, Jimmy Spencer. And Jimmy Dick in the Ole Mesa Ford Chevrolet entry is broken down on the racetrack after a spin coming out of turn number 2.
He's dead in the water at the bottom of turn number 2. That will bring out a caution flag with just 6 laps remaining. I'm sure NASCAR will do everything they possibly can to get the accident cleared up and off the racetrack, and hopefully Jimmy Dick back on the track running competitively again, and they'll get back under green just as soon as it's possible. They certainly don't want to finish this race under the caution flag.
And it would be a terrible waste for Dirk Stevens, who has put in such an effort to get back up into Bill Sedgwick's running room, if you will, and now Stevens is just hoping that they can get grouped up together and maybe get some kind of draft off the high banking here at Mesa Marin Raceway to try to get a shot at the lead. Been a fantastic race. Obviously the pits are opening up now, but none of the drivers who are in contention for the race are going to come in the pits, Greg.
And we saw Jimmy Dick is up and running once again. He'll take his place at the back of the field as the top 5 lines up for a final charge to the checkered flag. Just about 3 laps remaining when we go green.
Sedgwick is still out in front behind the pace car. There is Dirk Stevens in the 20, and behind him is Rick Carelli. Carelli again with 6 wins, and the driver out in front, Sedgwick, number 75, has a win here in Bakersfield already, looking for win number 2, and boy, has he been convincing all weekend long.
There's 1 lap to go to the green flag at the stripe. Sedgwick and Stevens up front. Behind him, Rick Carelli, and Carelli would like nothing better than to use those relatively fresh tires when the green flag falls and the heat hasn't built up in them to get by Stevens and ensure himself even a better position going into the Phoenix race for that Winston West Championship.
Pace car moves itself off, and Bill Sedgwick will set the pace in the Spears Manufacturing Chevy Lumina. Stevens still trying to heat the tires up to make a final attempt to get around Sedgwick. Scribner is on the bottom side of Bill Sedgwick, and here we go. Green flag is out. It is Sedgwick who takes him into turn number 1. Right behind him is 20 of Dirk Stevens. 61 Carelli will run behind Scribner, but is in the 3rd spot right now. A dash, and look, right now Stevens takes a bit to the inside in turn 3. Nothing doing there. Sedgwick still in command of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300.
With 2 laps remaining, it's interesting to note that Dirk Stevens was the one scrubbing the tires the most vigorously in order to keep the heat in them. His setup works best with hot tires. He only has 2 laps remaining.
As they go into turn number 3, the white flag being displayed at the flagging stand now as Sedgwick makes his final circuit around Mesa Marin's famed half-mile here in Bakersfield, California. 1 to go in the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300. Sedgwick, who has been dominating all day long, looking for his 2nd career victory here at Mesa Marin, as we get a slide going into turn number 1. That's a 77 car of Jimmy Dick. They will not put a yellow out. Bill Sedgwick comes out of turn number 4, and Bill Sedgwick in the Spears Manufacturing Chevy Lumina will capture the win in the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300.
Super win for Bill Sedgwick out of Acton, California, the 2-time Winston West champion, 1989 Rookie of the Year. This guy has got all kinds of talent. They do call him the natural, and for good reason. Right behind him, the young rookie out of Tumwater, Washington, of course, Dirk Stevens, and the number 20 Pepsi-Cola Ford Thunderbird, and a super run for Rick Carelli. He really had to make that bonsai move in order to stay close to Stevens. He wants that Winston West championship.
And Bill Sedgwick now getting ready to perform a very heartfelt tribute to 2 of our fallen heroes, Alan Kowicki and Davey Allison. follows his winning race car into victory circle. Let's go back and take a look at the fan reaction to the Davey Allison Alan Kawicki tribute. Crowd on their feet here at Mesa Marin Raceway with a standing ovation for our two fallen heroes. Let's go down to Fred Armstrong.
You have to be happy about this victory here today.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm real happy. You know, this race is for Davey Allison, Alan Kawicki. Glad Bobby Allison can be here. And I'll tell you what, this Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet Sunoco Racing team is just something else. This car was flawless.
Looks like the crew did a great job for you today, and Dirk Stevens was really hounding you there towards the end. Were you concerned at all about Stevens?
A little bit. Dirk and I are friends. He races fair. I was going to race the tires off this thing, you know, but I figured I led this many laps. I wasn't about to give it up at the end.
Winner of the Meineke Discount Mufflers 300, Bill Sedgwick.
An incredible NASCAR Winston West race. And the winner, Bill Sedgwick. Second spot went to Dirk Stevens. The third spot was Rick Carelli. Fourth spot, Harry Gant. Fifth spot, Jimmy Spencer. And in spot number 6, it was Rick Scribner. Seventh, Robert Sprague, Lance Wade, John Krebs, and Bill Schmidt round out the top 10.
This Prime Network Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America. And by Meineke Discount Muffler.
Thank you for joining us at this Meineke Discount Mufflers 300. For Craig Armstrong, Fred Armstrong, I'm Larry Naston. So long.